Smooth 981 FM. You can use the hashtag Business Express 981 to be a part of the conversation.
Was so she had very kind words for us. All right, we hop into the it's from 0.09% today. 36,299 points is where the all share index closed. So far this year, we're down by 5.08%. All sectors closed in the red: oil and gas, consumer goods, insurance, banking, industrials, everything. But we did have 19 gainers, 16 losers on the exchange. As far as the stocks that gained and lost, Unity Bank was the top gainer, up by 9% loser. It was down by 9.6%, closed at 28 kobo. We're still at 360 naira to the dollar. PMI for July. So I know CBN has theirs, and then of course Stanbic has theirs. I'm hoping your PMI was positive, like the CN zone. What are we seeing?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, generally, I think business sentiments remain positive in July. To be honest, is in tandem with the CBN manufacturer. Our PMI, since inception, we've seen it. We've seen the correlation with the CBN PMI as well, which kind of means that the readings or the survey findings are kind of similar from what are manufacturing companies. I think the is a number of them are saying that their input cost is still high, but they've not been able to on the cost to the consumer.
Okay.
Which definitely explains the depressed consumer sentiments that we have in the country currently. Remember, yes, Nigeria is out of a recession, but a lot of the consumer wallets are still pressured largely because there hasn't been a wage calibration in years. So you look at the minimum wage is still the same level it has been since 2013, and then that pressure is still there. So I mean, you look at the likes of the brewers now, for instance, where they have been slammed with excise duties, right? And then I think at the beginning of July was it? I mean, you saw Nigerian breweries raise prices,
right.
saw Guinness raise prices, but international breweries did not do so, right? So and then of course that called for competition. So in recent time, I think about a few weeks ago, they brought down the prices back because of course the consumers will not pay; they'll just move to the cheaper brand.
The other ones.
And that's what we are saying. But generally, sentiments still remain very positive.
Okay. So, you mentioned minimum wage. There's still that talk. Is it? I mean, I know this number is also been floated out there. We can't afford a 50,000 naira minimum wage, can we? I don't think the government can shoulder such a thing. That's from 18k to 50. That's just no way.
I don't think we can. And where you probably need to start from is at 18,000 naira.
Yeah.
Some states are still not paying.
Right.
So I mean, I think what will probably happen is you get an announcement that says, "Oh, minimum wage has been increased to so." The federal is 50,000 naira, but the states will still struggle to pay. So even if you make an announcement about the minimum wage, the point is it might not, because states workers will still get old salaries for months and all of that. So yeah, it needs to happen, but I think ultimately what needs to happen is that we really need to grow revenues, right? I mean, a lot of these things need to stop being dependent on just fact. Increase NPR, what does it actually do? That's my concern, and that's why I'm not too sure about what direction this is going. Because even the CBN governor, the last MPC, alluded to the fact that there's no credit growth in the economy, and he wanted banks to lend more. And he was even thinking of ways where they can lend to a lot of the SMEs and the manufacturing sector. And he was saying that at the MPC, and then on the other hand, a few weeks later, you're saying you think rates should increase rates.
It's not consistent.
I'm trying to find the balance. I mean, ultimately, I think for me, rates need to go up. I don't know if NPR is the rates that need to go up. What probably needs to happen is that because of the offshore maturities we're probably going to be seeing for the rest of the year, and the political risk that is hanging around, we might see a lot of the foreign continue to repatriate their monies. So you probably need to make them stay. So if you need them to stay, you probably need to increase the rate at which you are doing your auctions, so that they can at least have a reason to stay. But I mean, the NPR going up, I don't think it is going to impact anything. I don't think it's going to directly impact inflation anyway, because the the challenges are more structural than anything else.
All right, there's a question I want to ask you about that, but we'll get back to that. We have a message, Kayode.
Yes, this one's actually taking a direct shot at you. She says, Rotus likes trouble past fight. All of us saw the tweet and we did not. We did like we didn't see it. It's since she's not telling us what we want to hear or read now. Now you mentioned it at the end and then walked away, saying you won't touch it. Nah, you must touch that man.
Yinka, I'm not touching that thing. I just want to let people know she tweeted. But thanks for your message. Gbolahan, power. Yeah, there's been talk about how the tariffs. I'm just going back to this inflation issue and next year. There's been talk of how the tariffs are not that's not cost reflective. Wouldn't that, if they were to raise that again, because we're talking about the whole base effect from last year when the last time tariffs were raised, would that not have another impact again on inflation if we look at that matter in the new year, if they were to raise tariffs on everybody?
No, so but I think what happened was tariffs were raised, but then they were rescinded. Right?
Okay.
So they raised the tariffs and then they brought it back down, right? So I think we've not exactly seen the effect. So we saw the spike in I think for a couple of months and then it came back down, right? But I mean, but ultimately, so yeah, to your point on inflation going down, yeah, so we think that inflation is going to go down, but we think it's going to start to pick up again before the end of the year.
Okay.
And then we've not seen it in the numbers yet, but if this farmers and herdsmen's dispute is anything to go by, this is harvest season. If the farmers are not able to harvest their crops, ultimately that limits supply, and we see food inflation begin to tick up more significantly, and that could be part of line inflation again. And then of course you'll talk about the elections spending.
Lower denomination naira notes to trade. So I don't know how many of you are here. They say they've begun the disbursement of lower denomination of naira notes directly to traders. I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe through banks. So
how low though? Is it 5 naira? Is it 10 naira?
I think it's maybe the 100 or 200 naira.
100 or 200, we're probably going to end up spending it at a party, right?
Spraying it at weddings or something. I mean, an issue with them, you know.
You look at have you actually when last you actually go out to buy something that was 10 naira,
right?
I mean, even if you want to buy a pack of biscuits, you probably go and just buy a pack and it
things 85, 185.
So you're talking about
the
minor change, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know what impact that's meant to have really. I mean, I thought we're trying to fight inflation. We're trying to pump. We're pushing more money into
more notes out there. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Okay, Conoil. Conoil had one roller coaster of a week. The Q1 results. They were suspended. Trading was suspended by the stock exchange. They immediately released the results right out. Companies still need to pick up the pace when it comes to release of results.
Yeah, I mean, I think particular, I think they have
history.
And I think not just them. I think maybe a number of those downstream oil and gas companies. And I think the concern will be the fact that there are not so many investors looking at them anymore. So I mean, you don't. I mean, when I was still in the equity space, I mean, I don't hear a lot of people call me to ask me about Mares or any of those guys. So I mean, they feel like the eagle eye kind of has been away from them for a bit. So I think I think it's a good thing that the exchange is stepping up to actually really sanction these people that don't actually meet up with this, that don't meet up with the stipulated regulations.
Okay. Matt Kayode, we got some messages.
Yes, we do. IIDG, I believe things are not that cheap, but we need them. We need those low denominations so that people can price things lower. If they're available, people have no reason to price lower.
Okay. So did you want lower denomination?
Morning, please. Can you Rotus explain the quarterly coupon payments for the FGN savings bond?
Okay. I know we're almost out of time. Okay, real quick. So, for example, the 10% now, the 2-year bond. Yeah. So if you were to invest ₦1 million, you get 100,000 naira back as interest. That 100,000 naira interest will be paid to you 4 times. So you get 25,000. That's 100,000 divided by 4. So 25,000 in November, 25,000 in February. 12,000 in the quarterly coupon. It breaks down the annual interest rate you get over the year. That's how it works. Are we out of time? Kayode is giving me the hand signals. Gbolahan, thank you so much. Gbolahan Taiwo of Stanbic IBTC joining us today. Thank you so much for your time. This is the second time you've been on the show, Abi?
Yes.
Yeah, great stuff. Hope to see you again. And guys, thanks so much for your messages as well. We appreciate it. That's what runs the program. Kayode, that ought to do it.
That ought to do it.
All right.
Yeah.